Hello everyone, Casey here and welcome back to the Baking Analyst channel. On this channel, we cover cryptocurrencies, economics, personal finance, with a focus on yield farming for now. So if that sounds interesting to you, do consider subscribing to the channel and leaving a like. If you're completely new to yield farming and this whole DeFi space, I actually have a free course on Skillshare. It's something that you can access with a free trial of Skillshare if you use the link down below, and you can cancel it anytime at no cost to you whatsoever. Once you're up to speed, let's get started with today's video. Today we'll be talking about some updates on Harmony 1. So in the previous video, I covered Troll Guild on Lootswap, and I said that these bridge pools that paired Bitcoin from the One network and Bitcoin bridged in from the Binance Smart Chain were pretty attractive because they had no impermanent loss. You could just bridge them back and swap it out for like a normal Bitcoin. And they also had very high APRs. However, unfortunately, that was shortly no longer the case. As you can see, when we scroll down, we find that, yeah, all these pools that we all loved have basically gone to 0% APR because they are no longer incentivized. They're in this finished tab over here. And therefore, we've just moved our money out because there's no way I'm going to be farming a good portion of my portfolio with half of it in the farm token. So yeah, today we want to talk about some alternatives. Fuzz.Fi or Fuzzswap is still doing well though. We're still having, let's say, around 209% APR. So I mean, jump in when you can because these APRs are likely to go down soon. The halving of emissions for Fuzz.Fi is about due in around 2 days. So you might really want to just take advantage of this for the last few days. No deposit fees, no withdrawal fees. Absolutely amazing. Anyway, let's move on to the focus of today's video. The focus of today's video is really the DeFi Kingdoms ecosystem. So DeFi Kingdoms is a yield farming DEX AMM, your usual DeFi dApp. However, it comes with a gamification element to it. As you can see on the screen, you have your typical DeFi functions split up into bank, tavern, marketplace, portal, and gardens. So yield farming, I mean, we just go straight into gardens. But before we do that, I think we should first give an overview of the whole DeFi Kingdoms ecosystem. So as far as I can tell, when first trying out DeFi Kingdoms, behind this gamified front end, it seems to be a Venom DAO fork. They have this whole token lockup system, however, it's slightly different, and I'll get into that a bit later. However, they also do have a separate farming site known as the Valleys. And the Valleys makes use of liquidity or LP tokens deposited in this DeFi Kingdoms dApp and allows you to earn higher APRs. So first, let's look at some of the farms on the main DeFi Kingdoms website. So on DeFi Kingdoms, your farm token that you're farming is Jewel. What you do is to go into the gardens, click the Druid, and then you see all your usual pools that you can deposit your funds into. The thing about this is there is a token lockup schedule. However, it is pretty interesting how they are doing it because it seems different from any of the other DEXs like ViperSwap or Lootswap in that, you know, the unlocked APRs seem to be relatively stable over time. So let's have a look at the tokenomics. The tokenomics of the Jewel token are pretty interesting in that they are kind of similar or inspired by the ViperSwap and the Lootswap tokenomics, but they kind of improve on it to make it slightly more attractive to us farmers. The reason I'm saying that is, while in the first epoch where you have your same 256 times multiplier, you have the same 95% locked and 5% unlocked schedule as ViperSwap. As the multipliers come down from 256 all the way to 4 times multiplier, more and more of your tokens are unlocked over time. So what do I mean by this? Well, with every epoch that passes, let's think about like every week that passes, for example, an additional 2% of your locked rewards are unlocked. When you're mining in week 2, 7% of your rewards are unlocked, whereas in week 3, for example, 9% of your rewards will be unlocked. And this is pretty interesting because you have, on one hand, your total APRs coming down because of this emission decrease. However, you also have your unlocked APRs going up. In theory, this should potentially lead to a pretty stable release of Jewel tokens over time. So the graph to look at is this graph over here. We see the yellow line, which is your unlocked supply over time, and it's pretty gradual, it's pretty uniform from now till through to July 2022. So if this is true and you could get a stable APR, let's say of 90 to 100% per annum with DeFi Kingdoms, that would be pretty attractive because it means that you don't need to keep moving your tokens around, looking for the next farm. You just leave it there, compound it daily, and follow the compound interest calculator. You'll be pretty well off by the time that, well, July 2023 rolls around. That's 2 years down the road. Another thing that I wanted to talk about regarding the DeFi Kingdoms Jewel token is that for once, I mean, it might be questionable, but for once, there's a reason for people to buy them. I believe there is an airdrop that's happening that you need like 5,000 Jewel by a certain date in order to get it. So there's an incentive to hold the Jewel token. And then they're also coming up with NFTs. They're coming up with games. They eventually require the Jewel token to play or to earn greater rewards from. So with greater utility from the Jewel token, it is likely that the price would hold up better than the others with no utility at all, where people are just selling off the token as soon as it's unlocked. So as we look at the roadmap, they're looking pretty promising. So they have games, quests, as well as you can see, they have Gen 0 heroes, which are NFTs, will be given to random winners who have had at least 5,000 X Jewel in their bank balance by September 15th, 2021. Now is probably Epoch 3, which means that 9% of the tokens are unlocked. And if we go into DeFi Kingdoms, we find that, our 1 BUSD pool, 9% of that is somewhere along the lines of almost 100%, like 90 to 100%, roughly speaking. And 1 ETH is also doing like anywhere between 75 to 80%. Well, that's great actually if you're looking at a long-term stable way to earn high yields. However, at this point, if I were to switch into DeFi Kingdoms, I would incur an opportunity cost because Fuzz.Swap is still paying 200%. If that changes, however, this does look like a very viable option. Now, let's have a look at the valleys, which is probably the more exciting part, but also probably the more risky part. The valleys is a yield farm which uses DeFi Kingdoms as its DEX and liquidity source. So in order to stake your LP tokens on the valleys, you need to first deposit them in DeFi Kingdoms, add them to a liquidity pool on DeFi Kingdoms, and then go over to earn the valleys and then stake them in one of these pools. The farm token in this case is Amethyst or AME. All of it is unlocked. These APRs are what you'll likely be getting. However, one caveat is that these APRs stated on these sites haven't been the most accurate. I've actually checked this UST Luna pool. It is nowhere near 1,343%. If we go into vfat.tools, we find that it is actually somewhere along the lines of 50%, 56.58%. Quite a bummer, but still, there are other pools that are doing better, like BUSD Phantom. And one thing that I like about this is, while there is a deposit fee of 4%, which is quite brutal, honestly, you will have to take like 4 days to earn it back at the 400% that it is yielding right now. However, they do provide some opportunities for you to hold different types of coins like Luna and Phantom, which are these other DeFi-centric coins on other blockchains that are going up pretty rapidly. So if you would like to spread out your bets across all these layer 1 solutions, you could put some in Luna, put some in Phantom instead of like having half of it in Harmony 1. And the thing about the valleys also is that their tokenomics, their emission rates are 1 AME per block at all times. So this APY or this APR is not going to go down significantly unless a huge amount of liquidity or a whale comes in to take up like 99% of the pool. These are likely to stay around for quite a bit. If stability in yield is what you're looking for, the valleys might be somewhere that you might want to consider putting your money. So if we look at the roadmap, we see that there are games such as the casino. Yeah, you can just deposit some baby jewel, play the wheel. And then you also have your NFTs coming soon, as well as vaults, which are like auto-compounding vaults like Beefy Finance on Binance Smart Chain. All in all, the DeFi Kingdoms ecosystem does look to be pretty interesting, and I might be headed there after this Fuzz.Swap APR start coming down, or as and when new pools pop up that are more attractive than what we have over on Fuzz.Swap. Otherwise, there still remains an opportunity cost for me personally. But if you're into the whole gamification thing and you believe that, now there's a lot of hype around blockchain gaming, then yeah, it might be not a bad investment. Another issue with the valleys is that liquidity currently is still very low. So this means that if we were to look at, let's see, probably BSC ADA, maybe that's a popular pool, we see that there's $2,000 in it. Well, if a whale comes along with $1 million and puts it into this pool, yeah, I guess he loses a lot of money, 4%. But that will greatly push down this APR. So you might become the victim of your success in the sense that your APRs start going down because of the number of people who decide that, hey, you know what, this is a good idea, let's just deposit some, I don't know, $1,000 in it. And this issue applies to all yield farming projects. It's just that for the valleys, this issue is much more pronounced. See, you only have 2,000 in the liquidity pool, whereas for DeFi Kingdoms, you have like 30 million total value locked and high six figures in all of these pools. So it's unlikely that a single investor would be able to dilute this APR to too great an extent. The same goes for Fuzz.Swap. They also have about 5 to 6 figures locked in every pool, so not such a big issue for Fuzz.Swap and DeFi Kingdoms, but definitely something to look out for in the valleys. I hope this video has been informative and has informed on the possible rewards and risks investing in DeFi Kingdoms ecosystem, which includes both DeFi Kingdoms itself as well as the valleys. So I hope you found this video useful and informative on the DeFi Kingdoms ecosystem. I'll see you soon, and thanks for watching.